to something that's going on. And look, this Corey brought this to my attention. I think it's exactly where we need to be in this marketplace. What we're going to talk about in the emerging air taxi
Yep.
market and such. So take it away and talk to us about Whisper.
Sure. So yeah, this first article from today, I found it two places. It's actually on Bloomberg, but also over on TechCrunch. And basically, it's talking about a company called Whisper Aero. It's a company with about 11 people, if I'm gauging what I can find out about them correctly. So about 11 people, pretty small. And really, their whole thing is to develop technology that will be used for drones and eventually air taxis, supposedly, to really tackle the noise issue. And if you guys have been following our channel, you know we've talked a number of times about the hurdles to air
Hmm.
taxis and drones for that matter. And one of them is noise pollution, and saturation of urban areas where these vehicles are going to be or intended to be used. And this company actually agrees with that. That's a problem, and really is saying that's kind of what they're leveraging this company on. Whisper Aero, that's literally in
Hmm.
the name. And so they're like I said, they're really kind of going after drones first. It seems they do have some talent there. There's a former NASA engineer there. They have some connections to Uber Elevate. So some talent there, but really they're going after the noise part. And I'll kick it over to Mike here in 2 seconds. But really, I wanted to kind of say right off the bat too, because one of the things we saw this and we're like, okay, interested. Tell me more about Whisper Aero. I cannot find anything about their actual tech, and
Yeah.
it seems that that's on purpose by them. They don't seem that they have the patents far enough along that they would be willing to kind of let their IP out in the public knowledge, which is
Sure.
understandable, right? But all we can maybe gather is there's one quote, and then I'll kick it over to you, man. But it says, now I gotta find it again. Uh, of course.
Earworm.
Yeah. Geez, here I am talking about other stuff, and I'm like, oh, I want to say this one thing. Where is it? Basically, I'm trying to find the quote, but I'll kick it over to you. But basically, it's something to the effect of the quote says that everybody is operating in this space in the
Hmm.
propeller age, and we are to push everybody into the electric jet
Electric jet
age.
age.
It's a quote very similar to that.
No,
So if I
I
find the
think you were
actual quote,
spot
I'll read it
on.
to you. But
I
basically,
think you're
that's what
spot
they
on.
say. That's basically it. So that's really our only hint on whatever they're doing technology wise, that they're kind of going after the electric jet age. So maybe an electric ducted fan with some changes
Don't know.
on something. But yeah, what do you think, man?
Well, my
What's your
first
take?
take is that they're, if you go to their website, and you and I just discussed this before he came on, is it's very, there's no real information there. They say that they basically have their Footprint Coalition, the Connor Capital, Abstract Venture, Kindred, and a couple others, just like you mentioned in your article. I guess the biggest thing is that we've mentioned it before, that it's great to have all these ambitions about what you're going to think about the future of the air taxi and the eVTOL market, and especially drones. However, 10 of these things at 1,000 feet over your neighborhood will be just as annoying as a 747 on final into JFK, real short term. It's like it's not going to be a thing where people are going to want to have that same level of quote unquote harassment, right? So obviously, Whisper Air is looking to capitalize on that, and I think one of the other things that you did mention, and if you find it in there, is that they're looking to bring this temporarily at the level, I think, of the drone market, in which they find that
Yeah.
drones make too much noise, and this is one of the places where they want to make their biggest impact. However, it doesn't change the fact that big on like, hey, look, we've got a couple of articles out there, and we're formulating our technology, so on and so forth. This is what we've got, but not so big on the fact that they've got targets, right? One
Mhm.
interesting thing is that they're taking some of Iron Man's money here, because Robert Downey Jr. is also part of the Footprint Coalition, and he is part of their
Mhm.
backing program to make this happen. Now, you can throw enough money at a problem, but is this necessarily a problem that's going to be fixed by what quote unquote is going to be your thoughts on a electric turbine engine? Because they kind of already exist in the RC world.
Um, it leads to me really seeing what their solution is, and what I mean is by reading what I can find out about them, they aren't saying that they whatever they're working on is going to be something that's so silent you won't hear it. What they kind of seem to say is they want to integrate whatever the noise signature is, maybe the tone or the frequency or whatever they end up with, into the background noise of an urban area, right? So maybe the volume and the frequency and maybe the tone, whatever, how it works out, to something that would just kind of slide into the normal noise you already hear in an urban area, and in which case it would not be as much of a nuisance as some drones can be. If you've again, maybe you're watching our show and you haven't had a drone fly near you or above you at 100 feet, and they're pretty perceivable. If the wind is in any way not masking the drone, you can look up and you can tell. Oh yeah, I can I can hear clearly hear that drone flying up there. Now take that and make them a little bigger and make them hundreds of them, flying all over the place, delivering things or cargo or something else, of that nature. And we're not really even into air taxis then, but something even like what Mike's showing there on screen. That thing makes a noise that if you know what it sounds like, you're gonna recognize it. Even at night, if it flew over your house,
what the hell is that?
There's a drone above my house, and I don't know where it is. But so I guess that's where I'm going with what they say. They seem to say that they just wanted to kind of meld into the normal urban sounds. And so for that, for me, if that's something they can achieve, that it's literally sounds like normal urban noise, then it'll work.
What's normal? Okay,
because it might have an increase in volume, right? Because it's the same tone or whatever. But
I think the average decibels, though,
having been around electric ducted fans before in RCs, like you mentioned, they also have a sound. But that is that
average street noise, I think, is like 58 decibels to like 70 something decibels is average street noise, depending on if you're a New York City street or if you're in an average urban environment, right?
Oh, of course.
But if you walk
if
you walk out in my neighborhood right now, the average noise level is probably around 50 decibels, right? Wind through trees, maybe some delivery trucks, it's way lower. But look, if you and what I brought up on screen just before this was this whole thing about these vortex fans. Like there's already air turbines out there. You can go out and get a hobbyist grade air turbine it's quieter, and I can tell you it's much quieter because compared to its propeller driven counterparts, it is extremely quiet. But then again, if you put four of them together to make some sort of quad or do some sort of other technology, there you're going to increase your noise signature comparatively to something like Jet Aptera, which is going to be using slightly different technology, which they're equally as focused on, say, the noise footprint that's going to be out there. Jobby has said that one of their main goals is to be quieter. So is Archer and all these others. But Volocopter, they all say it. But are they going to be able to deliver? And I think before you flood the skies again with all these things, you have to think about the noise.
Yeah. So I guess the takeaway here is this might be a company to watch, depending on really what product they have. They're quite small now. If you're thinking of keeping track of this company, possibly if they go public or what, might be something to keep track of. But it's quite early. We can't really give you any other information on them than that. It's something we're obviously going to keep track of. If I can find stuff on patents, I was trying to look up that stuff earlier. Nothing that I can find or that I found. You will let you guys know, because of course, this company literally in the name is founded on one of the major components and things that we think might hold back air taxis, which is sound. So. We'll keep track.
We'll see what happens. And hey, good afternoon to you guys as well. James just had a chat there and comment in chat. So good afternoon. Yeah. We'll see what they do. I think one last thing that I just want to tack on there is that about 7 to 10 years ago, the big thing for larger helicopters were to change to a dihedral tip design that was supposed to reduce the signature of the main rotor blades and help quiet down things. And even Airbus went after that as a major attack feature for all their new developed helicopters that were coming out. However, it looks like, again, noise is going to be the factor that people are going to be focused on. So, yeah, I wonder what their investment dollars are going to be like. Hey, I wonder, obviously, after they produce their first drone, what their S-Pack is going to look like, because that seems to be the normal footprint for people to follow. So, and speaking about follow us.
Got another follower?
Subscribe and follow, guys. We appreciate appreciate that. Yes. And any chance you get a chance to share us or like or follow, we appreciate it. So thank you very much.
Yep.
All right, let's we didn't